If your life is anything like mine, it does not matter what you put your meat inside of. I think I could have worded that better. Should I keep going? Or should I start that again? Every time you go camping and you bring a cooler, you suffer from a simple disease: sausage water. In this case, it's hamburger water, but it seems to always be the sausages because the package looks waterproof. It isn't. Somehow this shit always leaks and your water is disgusting and contaminated and you end up having everything in your cooler covered in sausage water. I was fine with the labels peeling off the ketchup and the mayo, but the sausage water is where I draw the line. I can't do that. It drives me insane, and I've never, ever addressed the problem. You guys have heard me talk about doing a potential full trunk build out in the Jeep before, but it's my daily and we don't go camping for long periods of time, enough to justify that at least. And so I've been trying to find a solution that's like fine day to day, but can still get us through like a weekend or a week long camping trip, and it's not excessive during the months I go without camping. And I think I found a solution. So, if you guys follow the channel, you know that Jordy has been here outside building his van for like 3 weeks. He's gone now, but when he was here, he had an ICECO dual zone fridge. I've seen them on YouTube videos and Instagram and stuff before, but I never considered owning like a 12-volt fridge. And when he was here, we test fit the dual zone that he had from ICECO in the back of the Jeep. It was like an inch too big in all dimensions. It wouldn't work. And the reality is I don't need a dual zone. I just go camping for weekends or a week. I'm not gonna live in my Jeep, so the freezer's not necessary. But I did my research on what would be the best solution for like a DIY weekend camping trip, and I think this is it. That is heavier than a cooler. But wait, there's more. For the first time in a long time, I have never done this before. So needless to say, I am super excited, and before I forget, you guys know that every time I do installs, I try to get you guys a deal on the products I'm using, and today you guys can actually get 12% off if you use my code right here, or go in the link in the description. I'll leave a link to ICECO's website. I got you guys hooked up with the discount code to get 12% off their entire site. So check it out. This thing looks so sick in the matte black. So this is the VL45, which I believe is just a 45 quart cooler, and it's gorgeous. I tried to get something that was relatively the same size as the cooler we were already using. This is just a little bit taller, but also a little bit shorter, so it's nothing crazy, and it fits in the back of the Jeep. And I've only had it for like 5 minutes, but there's a couple like really cool key things and reasons why I bought this fridge. And I think number one, because this is gonna be in the back of the Jeep, this has gotta be like the best thing that this fridge does. So you push on this little tab and it unlocks, lid opens, goes back down. There's the same tab on this side, you push, lid opens, comes back down. Push both tabs, lid removal. Does Jordy's big ass, massive fridge freezer combo dual zone do that? No, suck it, Jordy. Anyways, quickly, this thing operates at like a 40-degree tilt, so it's perfect for Jeep stuff. It's got DC plugs and AC plugs and a USB option. It's got a battery monitor, so you can actually set this thing to different settings depending on how much battery you want it to use. It's got an eco mode, temperature control. The top is nice because there's like a little rubber piece right here and all these little feet, so when you put something down, it shouldn't just yeet off the back. You can still like stack stuff on here when you're driving. Inside, it has fancy little LED light. We've got a drain plug down here, basket, so you can load the basket, then put it in. Came with some extra corner guards. And the slide, this is where first world luxury comes in. This thing's obviously just disgustingly beautiful. It's the slide for this fridge. It's the VL45ProS slide. It's got the quick little easy grab tab, slides out. Oh, that's gonna be tough. It should lock halfway. Yep, right there. And then it slides out fully, dude. Come on. Come on, and then it all just tucks this up, locks into place. Now before we get anywhere, I wanna try and turn this thing on because I've been recommended by like everybody that I told I was getting a fridge to turn it on and run it on 110 before you take it anywhere. So like if we're gonna go camping tomorrow, plug it in tonight, get it cold. For now, let's just do 50 degrees. Oh, it's cooling, oh. It's set way lower. So it's set to 45. Right now it's it's 72. It's obviously plugged in to an extendo cord to the wall. So it's set to max battery and max cooling. Right now it is 12:11 and it is at 72 degrees. It actually might be at more than 72 degrees and that doesn't read past 72 degrees. And for the record, on max, working hard, it is extremely quiet. Anyways, here's where the fun part of today comes in. And my main thing is I really like this cubby. I keep first aid and emergency clothes, like a blanket. There's like shirts and hoodies and stuff underneath this little guy at all times. So I have an idea to keep this like still dailyable without building something mega back here that I don't want to carry around every day, and still give me access to this hole. And well, if you guys watch the channel at all, you know I love building things, so it also involves building things. This cooled down almost too fast. I literally went inside to eat lunch, came back out, it was already at 45. It did it in under an hour, and I don't even know how long it's been there. Really good. You didn't have to plug it in the night before like everybody was saying. I could plug this in like an hour before we leave. So since the trunk floor is a little bit squirrely and it comes apart in 3 separate pieces, I went ahead, made sure all of these measurements were proper, and then just traced over everything with a straight edge so I would get an actual square. Got my template up onto the table, and I started making the first of way too many messes today. I don't know why I cut that in here. I literally hate dust, and all my car windows are down. And you're dirty. Sorry guys. Yes, I did not cut on this line. I measured shy and I knew that, so I cut on the outside of the line. Oh, Papa, let's go, dude. Woo-hoo. Look at that. That's actually delicious. I mean, easy cleaned up, but like, So I cleaned it up. I wanted to take just a little off the front side while I was at it. We all know you can do a lot with a little, so I was very, very careful not to do too much. I also want to introduce you to this random new piece of wood, which you guys haven't met yet, and you're not going to see for a little while. Ooh, dude, that's so sick. That's literally perfect. I think before we go ahead and actually put fabric or anything over top of this, we should get this sort of figured out where it's going to go. My ideal, I'm hoping I'm not going to regret this, is if this can go like right here. That's as far forward, right, as it should need to. That should give it enough space for the fridge to come up and hit the seat, and the seat can stay up. Just please, please fit. That's not light at all. That's gonna be so fucking close. Oh my God. Dude, there's no way this works that well. If I didn't have my tailgate table, it would work no problem. With it, it clears by just a little bit. If you look down the chute, we do have a little bit of room. We have about a 1/4 inch all the way down. On a complete side note though, how sick does this look in the Jeep? Oh, I love it. For the record, I see people comment all the time when I do the paint on top of the bolt trick, and they're like, man, that's a cool trick, but I don't have a paint pen. Well, guess what? Me neither. I have no fucking idea where it went, so I'm using thread locker. It's just gotta be wet, baby. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. And we're in business. Honestly, working with wood is like a treat. Normally when I'm building things, it's metal and it takes me literal hours to drill simple holes. I got this entire project done up inside of a day, dude. This was nice and refreshing. I think regardless of what we do, actually, we're gonna have to drill out the front and the rear because the rear is underneath this base plate, which is good. We can still go through that. And the front, oh, the front will work. Look at that. The front will work. This one will work. And I'm honestly not upset I had to drill through the slide. It actually worked out really nice that it's in the back too, because when the slide's all the way out, all the force will be pulling on that back end to lift up. At least this way, if the fridge is super heavy or there's something on top of the fridge and someone grabs it and slides it out, it's not gonna break over, okay? There's like 8 bolts per little square. So like just in this section, there's 8 bolts. And then there's I'm gonna put screws here and these holes on the ends because they're very small. Screws here and screws here. And then 8 more bolts back there. Right now I just have 2 in each side just to make sure it's all good. And everything looks like it's gonna be so cool. That bolt's in there. This is snug up to the side. The only thing we have left to do now is a little game I decided to play, even though I'm not a woodworker at all, and it could end terribly. I need to be able to access that hole underneath there. And I have a plan that I think will work, but I'm not 100% sold, so I'm gonna just try it. I actually use painter's tape underneath the wood to outline where my little cubby is, and then I just retrace those lines on top of the wood, which is, I know, genius, thank you. And as I was marking up these lines just inside of the tape, I realized that there's really only one way to do this properly. This is like a snorkel. Normally, I would try to build some sort of little metal bracket or use some wood as a ledge, but in this case, that's gonna eat up space in the storage compartment, and also I wanna put a carpet over this, so having bolts or screws or something in the wood underneath it is not gonna look super good. I must have used one of these in high school wood shop, but I do not remember it at all. It's a super simple tool, but it scared the absolute crap out of me, so I spent over an hour just sitting here making test cuts, seeing what bit I wanted to use, how to even use this thing, before I eventually figured out exactly what I wanted to do. This plywood I think is 3/8 thick. You guys can see it's about 4 layers. Right now I have it set to shave off the first 2 layers and leave 2 layers, which is surprisingly stronger than you would think. So it's pretty much gonna build something like this, where there's 2 ledges, this bottom 2 sheets and the top 2 sheets, and then there's about 1/4 of an inch ledge. And I do that on both sides. You can see my test cut right here. Another ledge, 2 sheets and 2 sheets. And when they match up, they fit flush, they sit on top of each other nice, and they're actually ridiculously strong. So that on all 4 corners, touching, should be good. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get yelled at for doing this. I knew it wasn't super safe. I'm just gonna go with, if I go slow enough, I should start to feel if there's any resistance, which will give me way more than enough time to stop. But I wanted these lines to be so straight, and we all know jigsaws are squirrely, so this is the only thing I could think of to just get a nice straight cut. And you know what? It honestly worked really well. And I did go near the end here and just touch everything up with a jigsaw. Alright, I'm gonna say it. For my first time with the router, I'm pretty proud of myself. So now in theory, this guy should... That is such good news. Oh yeah, look at that. It's tight too. Oh dude, come on. Look at that. So now if I go ahead and do the same route on the top side of this, these should together perfectly. Do new things, learn new skills. Do not be scared. It's intimidating. I'm always intimidated by everything I do, but it's super sick. The feeling of like, next time I have a project, I'm gonna hesitate 50% less. I'm gonna just be super stoked. I'm gonna fire the router up and I'm gonna get it done. Maybe we'll take advantage of that hole that's already there in the knot. It's not necessarily centered, so it's not necessarily ideal, but if I don't use it, there's gonna be 2 craters on top of this thing, so let's go for 1 crater. actually don't know why I just did that. I saw it in a picture on Reddit actually, which is kind of where I got this trapdoor idea. Someone did it in the JK and that's what they did. And it's flawless. I could have probably put something nice, a nice little tab or something to grab, but I didn't. I drilled a hole. So now the thing's gonna have a hole. Once I had everything routed up, I went ahead and I grabbed my Painter's Touch Semi-Gloss Black. This is the same stuff I use on all my workbenches and everything, and I'm using it right here because I always have at least one can on hand. So if anything gets scratched up or any of the paint flakes off, I will always have some in this cabinet. And I basically just went around and hit everywhere that I don't plan on covering with carpet. And once it was fully dry, it was time to move on to making this thing look pretty. So this is more of a like vinyl than a fabric. You can see the backside is super tough and like durable, which is honestly why I bought it. The nice lady at Fabricland that recommended this has lived more life than any of you guys, so I took her word for it. That it would be A, way more durable inside of a trunk, and B, it's gonna help protect the wood if anything ever spills because it's waterproof, probably to a certain degree. Not to mention, for all this vinyl, I paid $9. For this, I'm actually using this Super 77 glue. I've used this stuff a ton before doing car interiors, and through hot and cold, I have never ever had an issue with it. It actually is almost too good, but not good enough that I didn't put staples as a backup. Look at that. You can't tell me that's not beautiful. And then I just got started on the mystery rectangle piece of wood. I wanted to practice and make sure I could absolutely nail it on this before I did the rest of the trunk. So I glued the surface, squeegeed out all the air bubbles, and then I just wrapped each edge one by one, and it turned out way better than I expected. All the edges are wrapped nice and tight, everything looks good, staples for security. This looks almost too good, and the point of this, I think I never showed you guys, is so when the slide is in the Jeep, there's two holes in between the end plates. So this guy is gonna go in here, so that when I go ahead and I wanna put like my ratchet strap bag or something, it keeps the space in the trunk. If I don't do this, you lose this square footage of the trunk space because you can't put stuff here. Now, I could put something there. And since I absolutely nailed my new skill, I just repeated it exactly for the new base. Spray, fold, staple, spray, flip, squeegee, spray, fold, staple. You guys get it. The only thing I didn't do this process with was the trap door. Once I got the vinyl glued on top of this trap door, I actually just cut around the outside and didn't fold anything over, and then I went back and I cut out the hole on the trap door on the actual base that I'd made. You guys can see now why I painted around the edges so that it doesn't look jank when you open it and you don't notice where the carpet ends and where the wood starts. It looks really good and it feels nice. It's like not carpety, it's somewhat water resistant, waterproof. The only thing we have left to do now, which is we already drilled all the holes, that way we wouldn't have to drill through the fabric and rip it up. Now I gotta find them, locate them, and then I guess X them with my knife. I don't even think it needs to be said, but I am extremely happy with how this turned out. Like, you guys were just staring at it, but dude, come on. It just looks so good. The hole is perfect. I have access to literally everything, and it's like pretty big. For reference of like the stock Jeep hole, my hand only goes in about the tip of my finger in all directions. So it's pretty big, lid fits up. I ended up putting these back with the plastic because if you don't put it back with the plastic, you can, if I can get this open, oh God, you need a screwdriver. Yeah, you just see the whole thing and it just starts to look out of place. So I cut the tab off the bottom and reused all the plastics. This one is backwards in the Jeep from the factory because then you can pull it towards you to tie stuff down. So I put it backwards, not sure if I'm sold on it, but it looks super cool. And to answer the question, what I did about this is nothing. The bolt that holds down right here, this front bolt is a Torx that comes in a little Jeep toolkit. So I've never needed this ever in my entire life. And I really hope I never need this in my entire life, but I think it looks super clean. It blends in with all the black, like you don't really notice anything out of place. So another cool feature about this fridge that I didn't mention earlier is it has the DC outlet in the back. So you guys can see right here, I have it plugged in, DC. Right now it's running off the Jeep right here. So it doesn't look all bunk when you have it set up. The front's just clean. I got my straps on. Obviously I just plugged it in. I don't need it to be cold, so whatever. And it looks great. I need to figure out a power solution. You guys saw me make a little DIY battery box type thing a while ago, but I actually had a pop-up camping trailer and I put the battery on the front of it and then I accidentally sold it with the battery on it. So I've been looking into like maybe a Jackery or some sort of solution to power everything when we're camping. But regardless, it's still sick. It works with the tailgate table down. If I'm cooking, doing stuff right here, I can grab this, slide it open. I can still access it from this side even. I don't even have to go to the other side. It's not spacious, but there's room to turn around and grab stuff out of the fridge, which is awesome. Oh, and dude, it looks great with the cooler and without the cooler. Without the cooler, sure, there's a slide. You go, oh, hey, well, why do you have a slide? But like, it doesn't stick out. It's not just like a giant gaping hole. It works. It really, really works. Honestly, the progress and the evolution of just me doing like camping mods to my Jeep is super cool to think about, from like where it first started when I was sleeping in it because I just wanted to get out and do more stuff, to now actually having it almost complete setup aside from having like electrical off-grid stuff, which we will do very shortly because I obviously have a demand for it now. So make sure you guys use the code ROBBIE on ICECO's website. Save you guys some money if you're in the market for a fridge. And honestly, it just feels really, really good to do something new, learn like the router skills and all that, which leads into today's challenge for you guys, which is to try something outside of your comfort zone. To be honest, buying the router and deciding what to buy was the easiest part. I, for some reason, was very daunted by using a router, even though I'm a pretty talented with my hands kind of person. And right now I'm like so stoked just sitting here looking at this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Go find something just outside of your comfort zone, something that you know you could do, but you're not, and try it. That's it. That's my challenge for you guys today. That is all I got for you guys. I hope you guys are stoked. Make sure you guys check out ICECO. I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay committed.